Asbestos, although it was widely used in construction for many years, currently raises serious health and safety concerns. As awareness of the negative effects of its use grows, the removal of asbestos is becoming a key issue for construction companies and their employees. Proper understanding and a safe approach to this process are essential for protecting not only human health, but also the environment. My guide aims to provide detailed information on the removal of asbestos, which will be invaluable for representatives of construction companies. We start with the basics. Understanding the characteristics of asbestos and its use in the past will help in better recognizing situations where it may be present and the necessity of taking action for its safe removal. We invite you to read and encourage you to implement the knowledge gained in practice to ensure the safety of your employees, clients, and local communities. Asbestos is a natural fibrous mineral that consists of thin fibered minerals with high resistance to heat, chemicals, and electricity. In the past, it gained significant popularity in the construction industry due to its exceptional properties such as thermal insulation, fire resistance, and durability. During the period of intense industrialization, especially in the 20th century, asbestos was used in various construction products such as insulation materials, roofing, floor tiles, and paints. Its usefulness stemmed from low production costs and ease of processing, which made it an ideal material for applications in construction. Over time, it has been discovered that long-term exposure to inhaling asbestos fibers can lead to serious health problems, such as asbestosis, lung cancer, and other respiratory diseases. In this regard, many countries have introduced bans and restrictions on the use of asbestos. Awareness of the dangers associated with asbestos and the legal requirements for its removal are becoming crucial for construction companies, which must ensure the safety of their employees and the surrounding environment. Why is asbestos harmful to health, and what dangers does its removal pose? Asbestos is very harmful to health primarily because of its fibrous properties. During work related to the removal or dismantling of materials containing asbestos, small asbestos fibers can be released into the air and inhaled. When they enter the lungs, they can cause serious occupational diseases, such as asbestosis, which is a chronic lung disease that leads to scarring of lung tissue, resulting over time in shortness of breath, coughing, and other respiratory problems. Pulmonary lymphoma is a cancer that develops within the lymphatic system of the lungs. Mesothelioma is a rare but aggressive cancer that most commonly affects the pleura of the lungs and is directly related to exposure to asbestos. Additionally, long-term exposure to asbestos fibers can cause other respiratory diseases and increase the risk of developing cancers. Asbestos removal involves additional risks which should be taken into account by construction companies. This process is complicated and requires strict adherence to safety procedures to minimize risks for those involved in the work and for those nearby. Here are some of the key dangers of improper asbestos removal: the release of fibers. Incorrect or non-compliant procedures can lead to the release of dangerous asbestos fibers into the air, creating exposure risks for workers and bystanders, as well as health threats for workers. Workers involved in asbestos removal may be exposed to fibers, which increases the risk of illness unless they are adequately protected. Environmental contamination. Improper removal of asbestos can result in the contamination of soil, groundwater, and air, which has long-term consequences for public health. For this reason, every company engaged in asbestos removal should have qualified personnel and adhere to strict standards and regulations to ensure the safe execution of this operation. How can asbestos be recognized on a construction site? Identifying asbestos on construction sites can be a challenging task, as this material often appears in various forms and products that may be difficult to recognize at first glance. Here are some tips that may potentially help in identifying places where asbestos may have been used, and the methods that should be applied for its identification. Knowledge of building materials is essential, as asbestos was commonly used in many construction products before bans were enacted. It can be found in insulating materials, roof coverings, floor tiles, mortars, plasters, and in some types of paints. In particular, it is worth paying attention to various types of insulating materials: asbestos cement sheets and other roof coverings and wall coverings, floor tiles and their adhesives, especially those of older dates.
Age of the building. Buildings constructed before 1995 are more likely to contain materials such as asbestos. It is worth seeking information about the construction history of a given building to estimate the risk of asbestos occurrence. External characteristics. In some cases, materials containing asbestos may appear worn or degraded. Cracks, damage, or signs of aging may indicate the presence of asbestos, which increases the risk of fiber release. Visual analysis, although in many cases asbestos can be identified by its characteristic appearance, e.g., fibers. However, it is recommended to use formal identification methods, as many asbestos-containing materials are difficult to recognize visually. Laboratory studies. The safest way to confirm the presence of asbestos is to have material samples analyzed in specialized laboratories. These laboratories can conduct thorough tests to determine the presence of asbestos fibers. Employment of specialists. In case of doubts about the presence of asbestos, it is always advisable to consult specialists in environmental protection and occupational safety. Companies engaged in asbestos removal possess the knowledge and experience in identifying and safely removing this material. It is important to approach the recognition of asbestos with due caution. Proper identification of hazardous materials is crucial for ensuring the safety of workers and residents. Avoid any attempts to remove or manipulate materials that may contain asbestos, as improper handling can lead to serious health hazards. A description of the places where asbestos is most commonly found. Asbestos was widely used in construction for many years due to its unique properties, such as fire resistance, insulation, and durability. Follow the channel to learn more.